curious, observant. Most high achievers have a notes app full of ambitious ideas. They sketch out business plans, outline novels, and map out new careers. Yet when the time comes to execute, the internal momentum completely freezes. This inability to move forward often traces back to a single label from childhood: the golden child. There is a specific irony in seeing the person voted most likely to succeed become the adult who is the most terrified of trying something new. It manifests in the half-written manuscripts, the podcast equipment gathering dust, and the side business that remains a collection of research tabs rather than a registered entity. This chronic inaction is a fear-driven shutdown. The mind simply locks the brakes to prevent a perceived disaster. This state of being stuck is a protective program running constantly in the background of the mind. It functions as an internal audit, a relentless, unforgiving review of your current standing. The audit measures one thing: a real-time tally of your perfection and your worthiness in the eyes of everyone else. Because this tally is always running, starting an unproven endeavor feels like a direct threat to your identity. In a typical childhood, you develop a baseline of intrinsic worth. For the golden child, value is purely transactional. This is externalized self-esteem. You outsource your sense of value, only feeling secure when someone confirms you're performing well. Perfect report cards were mandatory deposits. You needed constant praise just to keep the ledger from falling into a deficit. Growing up this way means you never had the opportunity to build an internal generator for self-esteem. You reached adulthood with a wealth of past praise, but very little psychological equity of your own. Adulthood changes the environment. You move from the structured rubrics of school into a world where external validation is inconsistent and often entirely absent. Without teachers or clear grading systems, the steady stream of deposits that once sustained your sense of worth suddenly dries up. Taking a risk as an adult requires being a beginner, and that means making mistakes. To someone with externalized esteem, a mistake wipes the ledger clean. It creates a sense of worthlessness that feels impossible to recover from. Paralysis is the logical response to a world where the risk of losing your sense of self is too high. Your inaction is a defense strategy. It is the mind's way of protecting a fragile sense of self-worth from potential hits. You find yourself refusing to play any game that you aren't already guaranteed to win. By doing nothing, you ensure that the ledger never takes a hit. The business that never launches can never be seen as a failure. The burden of the perfect child has transformed into heavy chains, keeping you safely anchored in place to avoid the risk of being average. Moving forward requires dismantling the entire internal audit system. The impossibly high standard you carry was a childhood survival strategy, a way to maintain safety and belonging through high performance. You can choose to stop letting external auditors, bosses, peers, or strangers determine your baseline value. As a child, being incredibly well-behaved was the price of admission. Now you can finally accept the risk of being human.